this is Vicki with Knitting at the Top of the World, and this is episode 13. So, to start off, I actually made a trip into Fairbanks on Friday, so I have some new stuff to show you guys. The first thing I do have to show is this beautiful skein, and it's different blues and purples, and it's hand-dyed locally, and it's by Bad Sheep, badsheepyarncompany.com, and it's called Lapis Lazuli. And here you go. It's badsheep.com. And I got this at Una Wool, which is a new shop that I went and visited, and I'll talk about that later. But it's sock yarn. I'm going to make socks out of it. And then I got one more skein. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to be on a yarn diet, but I kind of failed. And this is Madeline Tosh Gemini Twins, and it's Tosh sock, which is 100% wool. I've actually never made socks out of 100% wool, so I'm not sure if this is going to be socks. This might go in and be a... Sorry. This will go in and be a shawl. I'm going to try to edit that out. If it doesn't happen, I'm sorry. But I got this, and I'm going to try to make a shawl with it. I'm actually hoping to try to make the Aluna shawl. I got the name of the shawl from the yarn shop, and I think I'm going to do this with the Madeline Tosh and then a different color. I don't know which color yet. I've got lots of yarn to play with though and choose from. So those were my new items. Sorry, we had to start off with what did I get new because it's exciting when you go to the store. And Fairbanks has a few yarn shops, so this one was from Una Wool. I didn't go to Northern Threads, which is where I usually go. I was trying some new places. And I'm also drinking tea today. It is English breakfast, or it's Awake English Breakfast Tea by Tazo, which is my favorite. So, other than the trip to Fairbanks, I've had a pretty calm week. When I did go to Fairbanks, I went to Una Wool, which is a yarn shop on one side, and on the other side, there's this cute, adorable coffee shop that sells North Pole coffee. It was so nice. So I went and got a hot chocolate, and I got yarn, and I signed up for a class. So I'm going to be taking a brioche class over my spring break. It's 2 days. The first day is a Saturday for 3 hours, and the second day is the next week's Saturday for 3 hours, and I'm very excited. So if anybody locally wants to do the class, let me know. We could probably carpool, and I'm going to see Beauty and the Beast afterwards on the first one, because Beauty and the Beast comes out that weekend too. All right, so I better show you how my progress is going on my projects. So I've been working on the Snow Melt shawl. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm not sitting on anything important. I've been working on my Snow Melt shawl. I've made it to Clue 2, and I'm about halfway through Clue 2. So this is what it looks like. There's the lace work. There's the yarn. And it is getting huge. Like, it says I'm only 25% done, and it feels enormous. I've got stitch markers every 10 stitches, which is the pattern repeat, just so I can keep an eye on it, because it's actually a pretty complicated lace pattern. These are not lace tip needles. Kind of wish I had started on lace tip needles. I don't have any. I looked at the store, but I honestly spaced on what size these were. Next time I'll write it down and try to see if I can find some. But it's doable without the lace tip. It's just, I have to go very slow. It takes me about 15 minutes to go across, which is unusual for me. Usually I can kind of whip through. But I've been loving doing this pattern. The colors are not colors I would have ordinarily put together, I think, now that I'm doing it. But I think I'm still going to like the end result. Also, me and my mom are going to have matching shawls. So that'll be nice. Her shawl is going to be pink and browns and a tan, I believe. So I just saw hers on Instagram. But that's on what's on my needles there. And then I've started a new hat. This hat is probably going to be put for sale. I don't know. I'm trying to use leftovers skeins of yarn. So I'm using these 3 colors. What's a good way to see it? The purple hand dye that I made to make a shawl for my mother for her birthday, which she's going to bring with her if she comes back to visit me, so I can show you guys, because I don't actually have a photo of it. I'm trying to get this in the light for you. This is my hand-dyed ball of yarn. The coloring looks different on the computer right now, but And then this is some of my Big Bad Wool leftovers that I had from making another hat for somebody. So I am slowly but surely getting this done. I'm trying to untangle it so I can show you a little bit of what it looks like on my needles. I'm just starting at the rim. It's going to be a floppy hat. I got about 100 stitches on it. And I'm just going to alternate every other row between the teal, the multicolored blues, and the multicolored purples. And see how that goes. Oh, my shawl fell. The shawl is actually a shawl that my mom made me. If you watched my later podcasts or my earlier podcasts, you'd have seen the shawl. It was a gift for my birthday. Here, I'm going to take it off. And it was a mystery knit along that she did through a good yarn in Sarasota. That's where she did this with. I'm just showing you pieces of it. It's a little chilly in here today. It's actually not bad outside. It's about 10 degrees. I'm just chilly. And I worked on my socks a little bit, but not a ton, so they don't look like there's barely any progress. I will eventually finish this sock, I swear. That's going to be this week's goal, is to finish this sock. And start the second sock, because you know how that goes. But I do actually really like this yarn and working with it, and I actually like knitting with the smaller needles. It's creating quite a thick, nice fabric for the sock. And so that's what's on my needles right now. It's not a ton. I'm trying to be well behaved and finish the projects I'm starting. I'm also trying to knit hats because I can make $10 a pop for them, and then I have more money to buy more yarn. It's a pretty mean circle. But that's what I've got started. And for finished projects, I actually finished the hat that I was showing you guys last week. I finished it, I sold it. I'm going to have to post a picture of it afterwards, and I'll have to show it in the credits, because my friend, I gave it to my friend before I could get a picture of it, and so she took a picture of it on her daughter, so I'm going to show you that. And then I finished, I made a project with my roving, so I'm going to show you very carefully. I have to move stuff off of it, because I've made a centerpiece for my coffee table. So this is my coffee table blanket. It's actually, if you look at it next to me, it's quite big, and it's super pretty, and I felt like at first it would be silly to put it on the floor, because that was my first thought, to make it a rug, but I don't want people to step on it and wreck it, so it's been on my coffee table, and I set it up there under my it looks like a tray, and it's a mirror, so I put my tray on top of it, and then I put all my coasters and little knickknacks on my coffee table in the center. And I'm just setting it back up because my coffee table's in front of me. You guys just can't see it. So that's another finished object. Now, I did actually look into the campsite shawl today. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I was debating, I just have to reach for it, using my Miss Babs to do my campsite shawl. The only issue is I won't have enough Miss Babs. I was thinking about putting another color with it, or getting another skein of Miss Babs when I get paid this month. I would like some opinions on that. Do you think Miss Babs is a good thing for the campsite shawl? I know it's slightly too large of a yarn, but it's a shawl, so you can make it any size you want because gauge doesn't matter. Do you think I should be using a different color to maybe put an edge around it? Or should I use the Miss Babs as is and make the shawl and just get another skein? Because they need 700 yards and I have 560. Or is there another shawl that you guys think would be better for the Miss Babs yarn? I really love it, so I'm trying to figure out how to use it appropriately. Now, the next order of business is books. So, I finished reading Born a Crime. I loved it. I laughed, I cried. I learned a lot of things about apartheid in South Africa that I did not know. Actually, I barely knew anything about it. I knew that they had segregation like crazy in South Africa, but I did not know any of the history behind it or what it was like or how serious it was. I mean, it was just something I never took interest in. And now that I've read the book, I'm appalled but also amazed. So I think it was totally worth reading. I'm also starting Victoria. I'm trying to think how I would say how far I'm into it. I'm at the part where Victoria has, what did she just do? Oh, she has just had to go and meet her soldiers after shaming her mother's lady in waiting, and it's pretty good. So I can't wait to finish that book. And then the next book I'm going to read here, I'm pulling out my handy phone so I can look at my Audible, because I have a nice reading list started for myself. The next book that I'm going to read is Under the Northern Lights. It's supposed to be a romance. It's probably going to be trashy, and I'm going to love it, because I've done some serious books, and now I'm going to do my junk food book, because some books are junk food, and that's okay. I have recently rewatched Persuasion, which I love. Last night I went to a movie night with friends and watched The Accountant with Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick, and that was so cool. Like, I was amazed. As a special ed teacher, it hits home, but it was really cool because you don't usually see your students or people with disabilities as action heroes. It was really neat to watch. Also, very, very much hit home. They were talking about stemming and different behaviors students would exhibit, and I have students who stem all the time, and so I was fascinated watching them depicted in a movie. Also, kudos to the young actors and actresses in that movie, the kids. So most of the movie takes place with adults, but there's a whole flashbacks and memories of younger kids who are doing all the acting, and acting as a student with autism, and acting as the sibling to a child with autism, and just A+ acting, guys. Thought it was good. Totally a good movie. Wasn't expecting it to be so good. I think I'm gonna drink some tea. So I'm super excited to see Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my favorite childhood movies, and I love Emma Watson, and I love the fact that Matthew Crawley is the Beast, because I really I really like Downton Abbey too, so it's just the mix of everything perfect. So I'm thinking about putting together a Beauty and the Beast knit-along. I don't know what it's going to be. It's probably going to be something that I can wear to the premiere, but if anybody else wants to create a Beauty and the Beast themed knit that they just makes them think Beauty and the Beast, come and join. I might actually I'm debating between like a scarf or a shawl to wear to the premiere, or a teapot cozy because Mrs. Potts. It's a hard decision for me, but let me know what you guys think. We could probably post in the Ravelry group, and other people can post their pictures, and then what we can do is I can show them on the podcast later on. But that's kind of what I've been up to. Are there any questions that anybody has? Feel free to put them in the comments below. So far, our weather in Delta has been now we're going to switch over to life in Alaska. So far, our weather in Delta has been pretty warm. The last week we've been above zero all week, haven't dropped below. And then we've had some really warm days, like we had 2 45-degree days, which actually was super dangerous in its own right. And we've been having a lot of days where it's been hovering around 32 degrees. Today was the coldest day it's been all week. And it's supposed to drop down and be really cold tomorrow and Tuesday, and then shoot back up again. And I'm hoping this is the signaling for the end of winter. As much as I love winter, I also like the end of winter. So I'm hopeful. But because it's been so weird and so warm, it's made the roads super slick. My driveway is treacherous. The snow is halfway off my roof, but not fully. I had a small bathroom leak because of the way I have a vent in my bathroom, and the snow was getting too warm on my roof, and it was leaking into the bathroom. It had to get taken care of. So hopefully the snow will fall off my roof soon, and that'll be that. But no, I actually never thought of the warmer weather as being as much of a problem as the cold weather till this week. So it was really nice to have the warm weather, but at the same time, it was kind of scary. Or not scary, it just made driving really hard. It was kind of slippery. But I'm glad the warm weather's back. The sun is now out almost normal now. It's rising at about, well, dawn kind of breaks around 7, and the sun is out by 8, and sunset starts at about 5:30, and the sun in dusk ends at about 6:30. So it's a pretty decent amount of daylight. Pretty nice. And I've been enjoying that. I don't mind the dark season, but I really love the light season in Alaska, and I like gaining the light and how much light we get at the end. Like, I really like the days where the sun doesn't set. I really like it when it's kind of dusk all night long, not completely dark, not completely light. That's the kind of stuff I really enjoy. Like last year when I first moved here, me and some friends spent the whole evening outside, hanging out in the yard, and none of us, by the time we were all leaving, it was 4 or 5 in the morning and the sun was back up. So we had started at 5 the night before just hanging out, and when everybody was leaving, the sun was still out. And it was kind of awesome. That's the kind of stuff I really enjoy about Alaska. I am getting super excited because it's almost the time of year where it's perfect for walking around. Once it's once it's not so slippery and icy, I love going for walks. And I've been going to aerobics up the road from where I work, and it's the perfect distance to walk to aerobics. Right now I wouldn't, it's too slippery. I would slide back down the hill, I'd never make it to aerobics. But it is getting to the point now where it's going to be an easy, nice walking time. I need to start walking to school again. I'm probably going to hold off till the 2 real cold days pass, but I'm thinking in the next week I'm going to start walking versus driving to school again, because it's just nice out. And especially if I don't have to get any mail that day or stop at the post office. The post office really is the only thing I have to drive to still, because without fail I get something like boxes, or I share a post office box with a friend and she gets dog food in the mail, and if she gets dog food in the mail, I can't walk with that. And once you claim the package, you can't leave it there, so I have to make sure I have my car for the post office runs. But yeah, I mean, we are getting close to spring, so as spring starts springing, I will let you guys know. But this is Knitting at the Top of the World, and I'm Vicki. I'm sorry it's kind of a short episode today. I'm hoping as I get more time, I'm going to get a lot more knitting done, and I'll get more Hexie Puffs on my Hexie Puff blanket, I swear, because I need to add quite a bit more to that. Well, thank you.